Item, and I quote from Yahoo News, Dateline, Washington. The Supreme Court on Thursday upheld the search of a police officer's personal, sometimes sexually explicit, messages on a government-owned pager, saying it did not violate his constitutional rights. The court was unanimous in reversing a federal appeals court ruling that sided with the Ontario, California SWAT team officer. Justice Anthony Kennedy wrote for the court that the officer, Jeff, and I hope I pronounced this last name correct, Quon, Q-U-O-N, could not assume that his messages were in all circumstances immune from scrutiny. Ladies and gentlemen, the deterioration of the United States Constitution continues, and this time they're chipping away at the Fourth Amendment, which protects you. You might think, and it doesn't bother me if you think this way, because at least you are thinking about this, that Mr. Quone is getting what he deserves for sexting on a pager someone else owns. But what this ruling does is open up some other doors other than the most obvious one. What the Supreme Court said by that 9-0 vote is that if a corporation, governments are essentially corporations, let's keep that in mind, could give you a device, and by doing so, they own you 24/7. It sets a new precedent. Whether you are on the clock or off the clock, you are the property of your employer at all times, because they give you something they own. Not to mention, if the corporation, or members of said corporation, say something they later regret, or do something they later regret, and it is somehow captured on a mobile device, say a video file, or a picture file, or an audio file, which is not, of course, impossible with the iPhones and the Blackberries and the other smartphones of the day, they could take this ruling and suppress something that might actually be worth revealing. Louis XIV once said, "I am the state." What the Supreme Court does is basically make corporations the law. If a BP incident were to occur years from now, and the current rulings were not overturned, you would be lucky to hear about it or know about it. That's all I got. Y'all have a good weekend. We will catch you next week.